Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Prophecy Update. As always, it's our desire to bring the events that are happening in the world from a biblical perspective and also a prophetic perspective. So thanks for joining us today. What we're going to look at today is a major game changer. The recent bombing of Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 is going to have a tremendous impact on the world. It's a major turning event, and it shifts the balance of power. And so we're going to take a look at that. We're going to look at the players that might be involved, and then we're going to turn our attention to the Bible, and particularly prophecy, and how this possibly could set up more events to lead Russia to eventually attack Israel in the Gog of Magog war. It's a stage-setting event, right? It possibly could be one of the hooks that God uses to draw out Russia to attack Israel, because it impacts Israel. Because we're talking about gas, and Israel is a major gas producer, as you know. So we're going to look at all these things that happen. We're going to see how it impacts Israel and see the possibility of it setting the stage for the Gog of Magog invasion. So thanks for joining us. Let's dig in.
According to Swedish seismologists, several hundred pounds of TNT went off. The explosion carries a signature of an underwater man-made blast. Once this happened, the pressure in the Nord Stream pipeline went to zero once the blast went off. Okay? So there's something going on here. It's not natural. Okay? 16 hours after the first blast, 100 miles away, another explosion happens. An even larger one forced in Nord Stream 1. This is why analysts say that it is a sabotage and that it was well coordinated, because it's happening at different intervals of time. It's not all at once, and it happened in different sections of this pipeline. So it seems to be that this was coordinated, a coordinated detonation of these blasts. Of what they say, about 100 pounds of TNT went off at each site, basically. So here's another thing from the Asia Times. The Nord Stream pipelines are at sea depths ranging from 262 to 360 feet. Frogmen typically operate at 20 feet. Okay, so they can't go past that. So submersible vehicles would have been needed to place the explosives on the pipeline or otherwise damage it. So someone had, whether it's a submarine, but one of those submarines that's a drone submarine or something like that, or some type of underwater vehicle to go down at that depth to do this. Okay? So with that being said, we've got a major problem on our hands. Major. This is a major power shift. Okay? I was listening to Glenn Beck this morning, and he made a good point about this. It's a non-military target, okay? It's not inside the Ukraine, because this is an act of war on a civilian infrastructure of no direct threat to America or its allies. And he goes on to say, whoever this was, they have now put civilian infrastructure on the table that they'll go after, such as water, electricity, oil, because they're going after gas, okay? They went after this. So basically, he was saying all of the infrastructure in this new game plan is now at risk. Okay. This is going to crush the Europeans. This will kill thousands of Europeans this winter, because they don't have access to that gas. Now, we're pumping gas, we're giving them gas, selling gas to the Europeans right now in liquid form, and they're getting from different parts of the world, but this whole thing has been cut off. So they're going to have devastating consequences, and I'll show you in just a bit. CIA, Washington Examiner reports, warned about possible attack on Nord Stream pipeline weeks ago. How did the CIA know that something was going to go down? Did the FBI know? I'm sure they did. Yeah, so hold on. I got a video. So hold on. He did. We have our CIA saying it's going to go down. Okay? So let me ask you this. Does the U.S. gain anything from this if we did it? Poland says it's us. Now, again, I'm not on Russia's side right now, just because I'm saying, is it a possibility that we did something? Is it a possibility that our government's this evil to hit a civilian pipeline that's going to kill people this winter? Wow, you don't have much faith in the Biden administration, and neither do I, right? Yeah, is this part of the agenda? I mean, how does the United States gain from it? Okay, let's think about it. Okay, listen to Joe Biden, and I think this is when I think he went off script and he slipped and said something.
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it. And so many of you know so much about this as well, and you're.
Oh, that's something else. That's when he forgot Jack. I put that on. He forgot somebody's. Where's Jackie? Where's Jackie? He said, and she's dead for like 2 months now. I don't know. I combined two videos, but anyway, you want to see that? Or okay, well. Hold on.
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades.
Let me see if
Let me answer the first question.
Well, move over. Come on.
Let
let
me
it
answer
play.
the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it. And so many of you know so much about this as well, and you're committed. And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Is this the guy you think can pull that off? Come on. He can't even remember if someone's dead. Where's Jackie? She's supposed to be here. She died in August, Joe. What the heck's wrong with you, dude? But no, you obviously know he's a puppet on a marionette string, right? Okay. Here's another clip. You ready?
Well, one thing that I believe certainly the Senate Foreign Relations Committee is pretty unified on, it may not be unanimous, was our support for sanctions against Nord Stream 2 pipeline. And that I think many of us were very disappointed that those sanctions were not fully implemented and the construction continued. I can't think of a more powerful way to punish Russian aggression than by rolling back what progress has been made and, if at all possible, prevent the Nord Stream 2 from ever being completed. Is that something that is being discussed with allies? Is that something that's being contemplated?
Absolutely. And as you recall from the July U.S.-German statement, that was very much in that statement that any moves, Russian aggression against Ukraine, would have a direct impact on the pipeline. And that is our expectation and the conversation that we're having.
So again, direct impact is one thing, but I'm literally talking about rolling back the pipeline. And you can loosely define that, but I mean, taking action that will prevent it from ever becoming operational.
I think if President Putin moves on Ukraine, our expectation is that the pipeline will be suspended.
Well, I certainly hope the Senate Foreign Relations Committee would take up legislation to go beyond just suspending it, but from ending it permanently. But anyway, thank you, Undersecretary Nuland.
Okay, we're going to end it permanently. It's not even ours. Yeah, he is a Republican. Like I said, we have a uniparty. It's, you know, Republican, Democrats are all on this. Something's going on here. Something ain't adding up, or something is adding up, I should say, and I want to know what's going on. Here's Mike Adams saying this. He makes an interesting point. He goes, Nord Stream pipeline sabotage means that there won't be natural gas for Germany this winter. It points to a near certainty that chemical conglomerate BASF will be forced to shut down operations, most likely before the end of this year. But very few people realize that if BAS shuts down, Europe's industrial sector will collapse. BASF provides the vast majority of industrial chemicals needed for what? Fertilizer, oil refining, aerospace, automobile manufacturing, textiles, consumer products, medical supplies and medications, plastics and resins, and much more. Without BASF, European industry cannot function, and without natural gas, the BAS cannot function. As I pointed out in a previous article, BASF's own spokesman or own spokespeople say they aren't sure if BASF chemical plants can ever be restarted if they are shut down. This means European industry is over, and that means European banks are going to face widespread insolvency. The very existence of the euro currency and the EU itself is now in question. That's the chain reaction that happens with stopping the gas line like that. Because you have this company that manufactures all these things, and they have to do it through using natural gas. So it's this chain reaction. You're going to destroy the European economy. Ask yourself this. Even if you say, okay, I don't believe America did this, could it possibly be done with our money, though? Okay? So we have given $15 billion to Ukraine, which no one knows where this went. We have no accountability. Oh, and by the way, in 2011, $7 billion disappeared over there in the Ukraine under Hunter Biden's watch, and no one knows where it went. You know how much that could buy you as far as if you were a private company and wanted to destroy the pipeline? You could literally pay for it with all these billions of dollars that we have spread out all over the Ukraine, and we don't know who has it. It's possible we're even funding the thing. Ask yourself this: does Russia gain anything from this? What could Russia get? This is a major power shift. You realize this? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Let's state that on the. Give Terry the mic real quick, because I want people to hear this.
It means that Russia gets to take over Europe, because right now Russia is getting plenty of money from their selling of the same gas to China, Iran, and all points due east. Yeah. So this doesn't hurt Russia at all, but if Europe falls apart, Russia's in the catbird seat to go in and just take whatever they want.
That's right. Good point. Now, some people suspect that he went down himself and did it. Go ahead. This is a joke. He didn't go down in there. Don't get me started. Go ahead.
I have two questions. Beyond Russia, what about BRICS? What will the BRICS get?
Right.
What are they going to benefit? The other one, could Iran be a player involved in this?
Yeah, because
They bring it back.
you got a war going on with the BRICS nations versus the European Union and the globalists. And so, yeah, I mean, you could tie all those people together. And like Terry was saying, they're selling oil to each other and gas and everybody. They're quite fine economically. So you're seeing a divide happening. So you might be right on target with this, that BRICS could be involved, no doubt about it, with Russia. Yeah. Okay, Bill.
Tucker last night also mentioned that at the same day these were blowing up, a Norwegian pipelines went into Poland, started operating
That's right.
at the same time.
At
That's
the same
kind of
time.
funny too.
Yeah. So there's, again, I don't think all of these are coincidences. I think it's a coordinated effort that you're seeing happen. Something's going on here. Where am I at? Back there, now come up here.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, is it, as we know, Biden was really duly elected. He lost by 7.5 to 10 million votes.
Yes.
And so he's really taking orders, as we can tell, because he can't, put two sentences together, probably from the World Economic Forum. And do you think that they're the ones that are telling him to do this? Because they will benefit right from destabilization of Europe and the places in that vicinity?
Yeah, so that's another thing that you have to bring into the equation. What did the globalists get out of this if they're behind some of it? We'll get to that in just a bit. Go ahead.
I don't know all the details, but I think I was watching Amir before we came.
Yeah.
And he was saying that Israel's stepping up and going to provide the gas.
Yep, I'm going to get to that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. You're ahead of me, but you're right on, Penny. You're right on, because all of this ends in Israel's backyard. We'll talk about it. Okay, so already Russia's delivery of gas to 12 member states were either partially or completely stopped in what was to be viewed as retaliation for sanctions. So they already started doing this, all right? So we know that. It's been going on. Russia supplied 45% of the EU's total gas imports last year, 1/3 plus of the gas transited through Nord Stream. If this is Russia, then it's going to make the Russian oligarchs pretty ticked off at Putin. Okay? And that's what they got going on in Russia. It's ran by oligarchs, right? And Putin's one of them. But remember, it's going to tick them off too. Again, I'm just throwing variables in for you to weigh things out. Okay? Some people say, could this be a false flag operation? Like a Reichstag event that happened in 1933 with Germany, when the claim is, the communists burned down the Reichstag, we got to get the communists out, and really was Hitler and his goons that set the fire to the Reichstag, okay? To be a false flag and to give the impetus for the Nazis to take over. So did he attack the pipeline in order to blame their enemies? Ramp up the war in order to eventually use nukes? Maybe. This would be sacrificing major leverage over Europe, since 20% of Europe's energy comes from the Nord Stream pipeline. So the question you have to ask yourself, is Putin crazy enough, okay, that he's going to sacrifice this 20% leverage so that he can go nuke? See, because they're going to do an investigation of this, and maybe this will buy Putin some time, because he needs more soldiers. As you've seen, what he's having to do is conscript soldiers now, and he needs more supplies. Okay, so he would rather delay this and wait till the spring possibly to resupply, and they're having supply chain problems and all kinds of stuff. If they do an investigation and they say, whatever they determine, he could use that as an excuse of saying, see, that's a war crime, I'll nuke you. Maybe, I don't know. I'm throwing out scenarios because I don't know what the answer is. I just want you to start thinking about this, because this is a major game changer in the whole area over there. Now, one of the things you have to understand about Putin is this guy is Alexander Dugin. He is the brainchild for Putin. Okay, just like Yuval Harari is the brainchild for Klaus Schwab, coming up with all these crazy ideas, humans 2.0, and we're going to hack humans and all that stuff. This guy gives the thoughts to Putin. This guy, I mean, he hates the West, he hates globalism, and believe it or not, he hates wokeism. Really. But he's a Russian nationalist. He wants the Russians to be the #1 controller of the entire world, okay? And, wants to bring Mother Russia back and all of its children back under its umbrella. And I want you to think about this. In this guy's mindset, he has an eschatology. And this weird view of him and Putin is a combination of Russian Orthodox with a mixture of this very satanic mentality. So in their mentality and in Putin's mentality, they have to usher in chaos in order to get Russia back to being #1 and in control of the planet. Introduce chaos to bring Russia back up. That's very similar to how Islam thinks. We'll burn the whole thing down if we have to in order to have Islam become the caliphate, right? It's that kind of mentality. And in Dugin's mind, and he speaks to Putin, Putin must introduce chaos. Now, in this quasi-religio-political religion of Dugin and Putin, they believe and they say that Putin is their Messiah. Okay, that God has put him on mission to accomplish this. And he's got the backing of the most notable Russian Orthodox priests and bishops and whatever you call them behind him to say, yes, God has delivered him to do this for Russia. So Putin is on an ideological religious mission. Okay? He thinks he's going to introduce chaos, and out of the ashes, Russia will rise out of the ashes. Okay, so when he threatens nukes, I already know where that's coming from. He has no problem introducing chaos and destroying people if it gets Russia to where it needs to be, and that's part of their eschatology. Now, here's something interesting. You might have heard this. Someone was going to take Dugin out. And Dugin got in the other car where he was supposed to be in with his daughter, and his daughter and him flipped. And his daughter went in the car he was supposed to be in, and they blew that thing up and killed her. Well, obviously, the intention was to kill him, not his daughter. But anyway, who did this? It's a story that completely went away. So was this a message being sent to Putin? I don't know. What is this? There's some evil things going on. Things I can't connect all dots, but man, it just looks like there's a pot of evil brewing over there, and we don't know all the players yet. There was a message being sent to Putin. Who could have done such a thing? Was it us? Was it the globalist? Was it George Soros? Who would have done that? Who has the capabilities of going into Russia and doing a car bomb on Alexander Dugin? Let me ask you this. Does Germany gain from this? Yes, no, maybe so, I don't know. Let's explore a few things about Germany. I don't trust Germany as far as I can throw them. Okay, because the thing is, Germany is the western leg of the metallic man of Daniel. That's where it's settled after Otto I. It's in that area, Germany. Think about this. I want you to note something historically. Germany always makes the wrong decisions. I'm serious, man. And I'm not being germophobic or whatever. Is that right? What is it? Deutschephobic or whatever? Okay, Deutschephobic. Okay, so you know my last name. That's German for coming home, Holthaus. Okay, so I'm not being anti-German because I come from there. So anyway, but here's the thing. when you look at their history, they don't make good decisions. They're always on the wrong side of things, always doing stupid things, like destroying their fossil fuels right now and getting, locked into, being a slave to Putin on gas. They're just doing stupid things. It's possible. It's one theory. Germany could use it to deflect from bad energy policies. The blame would be deflected off the politicians who gutted themselves, right, of energy onto this event, maybe. They would sacrifice their own people due to the energy crisis by people, sorry, I did it wrong, dying in the wintertime. You think the upper echelon of whether it's our government or it's German government care about people die? I don't. I don't think Macron, even France, cares about people dying of freezing. People are already saying now, this is why we got to get off fossil fuels and move to green energy so this doesn't happen again. And fossil fuels just too unstable and dangerous. So this is really tells us we got to get off that. Again, I don't know. It's a theory. It's a theory. But Germany could blame this and deflect the attention from what they're doing to their people, especially this wintertime. Again, I don't know. I don't know. It's theories. Do the globalists gain from any of this? So their job is to destabilize everything. Because what are they trying to create? A new world order, and they're using the Great Reset to do it and never let a crisis go to waste. So what you're seeing with the globalists is that they're actually creating crises in order to get more control, right? They control, they create the problems for everybody. So are they behind this? Well, think about this from the globalist agenda. The globalists have an agenda to destroy fossil fuels. We all know that. They have an agenda to destroy the economies of the world. We all know that. They have an agenda to cause mass starvation. We know that. They have an agenda to reduce the surplus population. We know that. To control everyone and everything, including land. So the sacrifice of humans is needed to accomplish their goals. They don't care if people die. Yuval Harari just told you that we see humans as animals, hackable. They're useless air breathers. They're useless food eaters. We need to reduce the population. That's a demonic look of humanity rather than seeing people made in the image of God. That's why they don't care if people die. Maybe they're involved in this. I don't know. It's something we need to watch and see flush out. That's why I'm giving you all these possible scenarios. Now let's bring it to Israel. All roads lead back to Israel for some reason. So what's happened to Israel as far as natural gas? Well, they struck it rich. So now here's what happened in June of this year, 2022. Israel now will send gas to Egypt, and those flows will be redirected to Europe, which is stockpiling gas ahead of for the winter time, okay? With Russia limiting natural gas flows to Europe, member nations have had to increasingly turn to other supplies. That being one is Israel. So they're cranking out plenty of gas for Europe. This article notes interesting things. 2009, this is when Israel found its natural gas supplies out there in the Mediterranean. And the reserve has 311 billion cubic meters off their coast. Israel's gas reserves are so rich that they can supply not only Israel, but Europe as well. Like I said, June 2022, Israel and the European Union signed a natural gas agreement. The agreement says that Israel will send its gas through Egypt's pipelines. Signing this trilateral agreement is Europe's solution for replacing the Russian gas imports it has relied on for decades. So these are the gas finds off of Israel. So you have Leviathan, Tamar, Dalit, Meribah, and there's other little ones, Gaza Marine, and Gaza controls that, I believe. Anyway, this is major. This is unlimited gas, not only for Israel, but for all of Europe. That's how much gas they have found. It's crazy. Here are the pipelines that are being ran right now to Egypt. You can see them in red. One of them is going straight up, and the other one's obviously the pipeline's going to Israel, and then the pipeline's going to Egypt. Those Egyptian pipelines are giving gas to Europe right now. Huh. Here's an interesting thing. There is a proposed East Mediterranean pipeline that was proposed, and America shot it down. And this, as you can see, which goes straight up to Greece, into Italy, and then into Europe, coming from Israel's gas reserves. And for some reason, we stopped it. We didn't want it happening. This, if America had said, we're going to go through with this, it would have been ready by 2025. But now, it is not in production at all. But this is what they were planning. But someone said, this is not a good idea. I wonder who and why. Why would America tell them this is not a good idea when we've been telling Europe to get off of Russia's gas? But we didn't want them to use Israel's gas. Huh. Go figure. Something's not right. Let's look at Ezekiel 38 and 39. The Gog of Magog invasion of Israel. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, set your face towards Gog of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Well, we already know by ancient history where this area is at. It is southern Russia and the former Soviet republics. That's where Gog of Magog is at. Now, Gog is the leader of this coalition, of this Russian area. And there's other players involved in it. And prophesy against him and say, thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against you, O Gog, chief of Meshech and Tubal. The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal is the head of this coalition, and he is centered in Russia. And I will turn you about and put hooks in your jaws, multiple hooks to lead you out. And I will bring you out, and all your army, horses and horsemen, of all of them clothed in full armor, a great host of all of them with buckler and shield, wielding swords. Now here's the coalition that goes along with this southern Russia and Gog. Persia, which is modern day Iran. Cush includes Sudan, Ethiopia, Eritrea. And Put, which includes Libya, Algeria, and Tunisia, are with them. All of them with shield and helmet. And Gomer too. Now wait a second. This is interesting about Gomer. There's two ways you can take Gomer. Some say it's Turkey, but the early rabbis who interpreted this said Gomer is Germany. Huh. That's interesting. Germany? Yeah. And his hordes, Beth Togarmah, that would include Turkey, Armenia, Asia Minor, or Central Asia in that area. From the uttermost parts of the north, with all his troops, many people are with you. So basically on a map, you have this. The othermost parts of the north, directly north of Israel, is Moscow. So you have Rosh, the area of Magog is southern Russia. If it's Gomer, you have Germany. You have Libya, you have Ethiopia coming in, you have Persia coming in, and Turkey to attack Israel. Is it possible that one of the hooks that draws Russia and their allies to attack Israel is gas? Maybe, because it's a multiplicity of hooks, isn't it? It's not just one hook, it's a multiplicity. It's very possible that if we're in that day, if Putin is the Gog of Magog, if he is, and again, I don't know, this could go on for years. I don't know, he could die or whatever. But anyway, we know this coalition will one day attack Israel, okay? At some point in time. This is a prophecy 2,500 years ago that has not come to fruition. And yet the players are in line. Who's connected to Russia? Well, you got Turkey and Iran are already connected. The players are aligning themselves. And maybe this whole thing with Nord Stream may be a setting of the stage for one of the hooks. Okay, questions. Let's go.
I can't help but ask, would Iran players and operatives bomb the pipeline and blame Israel through their disinformation programs?
Could very well be. I don't put anything past Iran. Iran hates Israel. They want to destroy Israel. Yeah, I can totally see it. So you have that scenario playing itself out. And all these players hate Israel, by the way. What's the common theme with all of them? They hate Israel. They do not like Israel producing energy. That's a big no-no for them because it affects them, right? Results. Whatever comes out of this, it makes Russia more dangerous. There's no doubt about it. This guy he's willing to go nuke, okay? It makes him more dangerous. It takes away the leverage of Russia, no doubt about it, but maybe Russia doesn't mind taking that away if they did it themselves. But it definitely shifts the power away from Russia, okay? It moves the power. It potentially puts Israel in the crosshairs, maybe one step closer to the Gog of Magog invasion, and it's a new level of evil that traces its origins to Satan. Well, what do you mean by that? When you hit civilian targets for no reason other than to just kill them, that's satanic. It's anti-human. It's one thing if you're doing things within the confines and boundaries of a war. It's another thing to go straight after civilians. And this goes right after civilians. It's going to kill people this winter in Europe. They're going to freeze to death. And freezing to death is like the worst thing possible that can happen to you. Don't believe the lie that more people die in heat. They don't. If you put the stats up, it's double of the people that die in cold rather than in heat. It's double it. So if 600 people die of heat, you'll have 1,200 die of cold. It's double because of cold. More people die of cold than heat. Yeah.
So with Italy getting their new, we would consider a right side who's trying for the people in power, and they're all, the news today saying she's Hitler, she's Hitler-esque,
I know.
she's Mussolini. How is that going to play into all this, do you think?
Well, it continues to show you the mindset of not only Europe, but the globalists. They do not want a woman like her because she reminds them of Trump, because she's going against the system. And so the first thing they got to do is demonize her. She's a fascist, she's a fascist. But this gal is straight on, man. She is straight up. If you ever listen to her, wow. She's a fireball. Has she? Yeah. Yeah, and she's against the vaccines and all kinds of stuff. You know, we would gravitate to her if she was here in America. There's no doubt about it. But the problem is she's in Italy, and Italy's already sold out to the Green New Deal and the World Economic Forum. The whole Europeans are doing that. So she's going to be demonized the whole way. They cannot let her in, is the idea. I hope she does, but this is what's happening. There's a mindset over there that's controlling Europe. Let me end on this. Whoever this is, it is satanically evil because they're willing to plunge 100+ million Europeans into mass starvation, destroy Europeans' economy, cause the death of people this winter, skyrocket the unemployment, and destroy businesses and create food shortages. Whoever did this. Yeah, so let me get a mic to him.
Again, I look at Islam, it fits in with their eschatology as well.
It does.
Take out civilians.
Take out civilians, create chaos. You're right. You think about the Gog of Magog, the one common factor that unites them all is Islam. And I can't remember what the stat is off the top of my head. It's something like 40% of Putin's army is Islamic. So you got the players of the Gog of Magog, and it's driven by the hatred of Israel through Islam. That's a no-brainer, guys, right? You can see the players all lined up right now. And Putin, he's not a fan of Israel. He seems to be, but he's not, because he doesn't want them undermining his economy by having energy like gas and stuff. Anywho, I hope it's not us. But if it is, this is a whole new level of evil we have never seen before, that we are willing to do this and let people die. Not good. Not good if it is us. I hope it's not. I hope it's the globalists. I hope it's Putin or someone else, but this is pretty bad. This right now, guys, is a game changer right now. Major game changer. One more question, then we got to leave. It's right over here. Larry's got a hand up.
I got it. It's all right. It's a race. We lost.
My question was, do you think our military is divided between the white hats and the black hats?
Unfortunately, I think it is, Larry. I think the wokeism of under people like Milley, the General Milley and these other woke guys, they have completely did this on purpose. You know, we're more concerned about people being woke in the military than we are fighting a battle. And then we you know, if this is black ops type of stuff, we're doing some really evil things. Horrible. But you're right, the good people in the military are leaving in droves. They don't want them. They don't want to be questioned. The superiors don't want to be questioned. It's like what's happening in the FBI. You have a whistleblower, and they're immediately put down and gotten rid of. And I think that's how the military is now. People are starting to say, wait a second, this is wrong what we're doing here. And they're like, okay, get out. And I think that's what's happening. And again, what happened in Nazi Germany? They got the good military guys out and they replaced them with very evil people that had no conscience, right? That's who Hitler surrounded himself with. He surrounded himself with people who had no conscience. Well, how do you have no conscience? Well, you don't have a God. You don't have a system of morality. And so now, you know, the biggest religion at the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado, guess what it is? No, it's worse. It's witchcraft. Witchcraft is the biggest religion that the cadets have in the Air Force Academy. How did that happen? How did that happen? You can see the problems, right? So you create a soldier that has no conscience. What can you do with a guy that has no conscience? Anything. We're just following orders, they said at Nuremberg. We're just following orders. I keep hearing that mantra, we're just following orders, as if that gets you off the hook. Sorry, but that's what's happening, Larry, to our military. It's happening to education. It's happening to FBI, DOJ, IRS. You're right. It's happening, man. Okay, we got to go. Let's pray and we'll get you running. Father, thank you, Lord, for giving us the insight from your word and the truth of what's going on in this world. It is evil, Father. And man, we pray for all these poor Europeans. They have no control of what's happening over there. They're like pawns in their hands, and they're getting ready to face a horrible winter. We pray, Father, that you would provide for them, and through all this, they would seek your Son for salvation, and you would provide everything they need to survive this. Be with them, Father, and be with us to continue to get the warning out, to alert people to what's going on in this world as we see the evil day approaching.
Well, folks, just a couple things before we leave. If you haven't went on our website, we now have our church tracker up. And so if you're looking for a remnant church, check out our church tracker. Click on the tabs and it'll open up to our church tracker. You'll see the United States and other parts of the world. And if you're looking for a good church, maybe you can find one on that church tracker. If you're aware of any remnant churches, maybe one that you attend that's not on the list, not on the church tracker, let us know. We'll vet them. And if everything goes smooth, we'll add them to our church tracker list. Furthermore, make sure you're on our text alert system. Just follow this link and put your phone number in, your name, and that way we can text alert you if things happen and we need to notify you out there. It just keeps you up to date on things. And then second, be praying for us, man, because we have a lot of demonic attacks. As you can see, when we touch these issues, we get attacked constantly. And so we need your prayers. And also, if the Lord puts it on your heart to help us financially, we could really use the help, because we're starting a school, because we don't want our kids going to the public schools anymore. We're building a church because we don't have a permanent space. We've been kind of tearing up and setting down for nearly 11 years now. And finally, we're going to have our own place, so we're building that. And then we just need operating costs for not only the online ministry, but just the general operating costs for our budget. So if the Lord puts it on your heart to help us, man, that would be tremendous. So anyway, remember what the Lord said. When you see all these things begin to happen, look up, lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near. God bless you. We'll see you next time.